In today's video, I'm going to walk you through ways in which you can fall fully in love with all of you.
Yeah, and you are the time of my life. Amaru, yeah.
I am Tori Elizabeth Phillip, a multi hyphenate, living a life centered around connection, wellness, and travel. If you're looking for ways to fall in love with all of you, then you came to the right place. Just keep watching. So, I want to start this video with the disclaimer that before things can get beautiful, sometimes they have to get ugly. In order for you to truly fall in love with all of you first have to get real with yourself. And what I mean by that is when I recently did a therapy session with my therapist, we did an exercise where I had to dig deep and be very vulnerable about the parts of me that may not be my best or may not even be my truest self. And so I want you to take out a piece of paper. And on this piece of paper, I want you to create a line down the middle vertically and then a line across horizontally. And the reason why you're doing that is you're creating 4 quadrants that we're going to do an exercise to walk you through ways in which you can fall in love with all of you. Okay, so in the first quadrant, which is at the top left, we're going to do an exercise focused on limiting beliefs. So, just so you know what limiting beliefs are, limiting beliefs is a thought or a state of mind that you think is the absolute truth and stops you from doing certain things. These beliefs don't always have to be about yourself either. They could be about how the world works, ideas, and how you interact with people. So, like I said, on this piece of paper, in the left quadrant, what I want you to do is write down every limiting belief that you have about yourself. So, I'll use myself, for example. The limiting belief that I have is that I don't have enough time. I also believe that I'm lazy. And another limiting belief that I have is that I'm all over the place. And so these are the things that you tell yourself or the stories that you believe about yourself that may or may not be true. So I want you to take the time and just really think about what are the things that you've told yourself about yourself that can be seen as limiting beliefs. I gave you my examples, and I want you to take the time and write all of the limiting beliefs that come to you when you think about yourself. Okay, now that you have written out every limiting belief, I want you to sit with this. I want you to read that list and sit and really be honest with yourself and think about how does it make you feel to see this on paper? So when I wrote these out on paper and I gave you a few of my limiting beliefs, I initially felt some type of way. I'm not going to lie. I felt as if I felt seen in a way. I felt vulnerable. I felt like I was sharing a part of me that I don't tell to other people, the parts of me that I hide. And so, but on one end, it made me feel good that I was able to get it out and have it on paper to be able to visualize and realize that those things are separate from me and that I am not those things, which leads us to the next part of this exercise, right? On the top right quadrant, this is where we're going to write out our truths. So, just so you know what truths are, I'm sure we know, but just to make sure we're all on the same page. So, a truth is defined as that which is true or in accordance with fact or reality. So, what we're going to do is we're going to pair truths to those limiting beliefs that we just put on the left. So, for example, a truth for I am all over the place is I am multifaceted. So it's taking the limiting belief and reframing it to a truth. So instead of it being I am all over the place, the truth is I am a multifaceted. Another example, I have an abundance of time is a truth that will replace I don't have enough time. So if I believe that a truth is that there's an abundance of time, then my limiting belief is already false if I'm saying I don't have enough time. Get what I mean? And lastly, I'm allowed to rest is a truth from my limiting belief that I am lazy. It's reminding myself that just because I'm not subscribing to hustle and grind culture, that doesn't make me lazy. It's just a reminder that rest is okay. It's okay to not always be go, 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 go. So I want you to do the same again on the right quadrant. For each limiting belief, write a truth down about that limiting belief so that we're able to reframe the way in which you see them. And now that you have written out those truths, I want you to take the time to reflect on it. How does seeing that truth in comparison to the limiting belief make you feel? For me, it made me feel better. It made me realize that what I had been telling myself, the story that I had been saying to myself, wasn't fact, that wasn't the truth. I do have an abundance of time. Like, I am not lazy. I'm not all over the place. I'm just a multifaceted. And so, with that, going into the next part of this exercise, it all will begin to tie together and make sense for you to really understand like why this exercise is so important when trying to fall in love with all of you. And so, in the next part at the bottom left, as well as the bottom right, we're going to write two things down. So in the bottom left, I want you to write because I believe and then put a blank, like a space. And then on the right side, you're going to put I in a space. And so I'm going to show you why we're doing this just in a second. So the exercise that we're about to do is going to help you to recognize how you've been operating from a place of limiting beliefs and what actions have been tied to those things so that you're able to recognize those in the future whenever you fall into the traps of your limiting beliefs. So, prime example of it is because I believe that I am all over the place, I over niche myself down and put myself in a box. So, you see how taking that limiting belief and putting it in the because I believe space, I'm then able to pair the action that I fall into whenever I'm operating in that limiting belief. So, because I believe that I'm all over the place, my action is I over niche myself down and try to limit myself and put myself in a box, as opposed to operating fully as a multifaceted. So, using the other examples as well for this exercise, because I believe that I don't have enough time, I live in the future. So I find myself constantly thinking of the what ifs, constantly ruminating on the future, not allowing myself to be present because I think there's such a limit of time that life is so short, which it can be in ways, but to live in that constantly, I'm not allowing myself to operate from a place of being present, from a place of practicing gratitude, as opposed to constantly thinking, okay, what's next? What if this happens? Like go, 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 future mindset, and not allowing myself to like live in the now. And lastly, because I believe that I am lazy, I overpromise and I overcommit myself because I'm trying to prove to myself that I'm not lazy. So I take on projects that I shouldn't. I say yes to things that I don't actually have the time nor bandwidth for. So I end up dropping the ball when that's not who I am as a person, but it is a symptom of me feeling like I'm lazy, so I'm overcompensating and overcommitting as opposed to honoring myself and allowing myself the space to rest and not just be busy for busy sake. So I hope you're seeing how this exercise really is revealing the truth in the way that we show up, truth in the way we operate, and the actions that we take, because a lot of times we're living in our limiting belief as opposed to operating from our truest self, from our truth. And so this exercise really allows you to recognize the things that you do, and the actions that you take when you're operating in your limiting beliefs. And I like to see this exercise as a chance for us to be able to put buffers in place to protect us from us. I know a lot of times people always talk about protect yourself from other people, but the most important person we need to protect ourselves from sometimes is us, because the stories that we tell ourselves, the limiting beliefs that we believe, the boundaries that we don't put into place, all of that affects our ability to fall in love with all of us. Because when you're not operating from your truest self, you're bound to just go through life being any and everything for everybody and nothing for yourself. And so I hope you guys are seeing why this exercise is so important and how it really can help you to be able to show up as your full self, to love yourself fully, all of you, to to be able to recognize those limiting beliefs and replace those with the truths, and be able to recognize the actions that you display when you're operating as your limiting beliefs, so that you're able to mitigate that, reverse engineer that, so that you're operating more from your true and most highest self, as opposed to the that part that's just not you. So I want to end this by letting you know that falling in love with all of you is not suppressing who you are. It's reframing those limiting beliefs with truths. It's recognizing the actions and the habits that you may fall into when you're operating from those limiting beliefs. And I really encourage you to do this exercise. This exercise is the catalyst for you to live a life that is full and fulfilling. This exercise helped me to be able to shift my mindset, to be able to shift from operating in limiting beliefs, not recognizing my truest self, being in a place of just feeling stuck. It was this exercise that I did with my therapist that really allowed me to begin the healing journey to loving myself and falling in love with all of me. And so, if you too are on a journey of wanting to show up as your full self and live a life that is fulfilling, then I ask that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this video with someone who you believe needs to hear this message. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. If you tried this exercise, what are your thoughts? Let me know. And until next time,
Yeah.
loves,
And
later.
you are the time of my life. Amaru, yeah.